Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of On the Field with Jon and Jarad. We're going to be covering some local Buena sports commentary, which we'll talk about or some sports that happened this week, and talk about the Super Bowl a little bit, maybe.
Breaking my heart. Breaking my heart.
It's okay, Jon. You live to see another day.
Oh,
Let's say another day. Just like Farmer Fran said on Waterboy.
You know what's less heartbreaking than losing to the Bengals? I watched that Bengals in the championship, and that was like everybody talks about how the Chiefs get all the calls, and I'm like, did anybody watch that Bengals game? So my heartbreak. I'll just go on with move on. But so the Chiefs, clearly could not overcome that defensive pass rush. Jalen Carter, that's the name I keep wanting to say over and over. Yeah. I've been trying to say his name. Jalen Carter is a disruptor, man.
He rocked out on that game.
He's a monster. So that whole defensive line looked incredible. Sweat had 2.5 sacks. And then who do you give the MVP to? Like, really consider this. You've got a guy that has a pick six.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Should have been the whole defense.
Pretty amazing.
You've
got a guy that has 2.5 sacks. Like, it was that whole defense took over. But the Chiefs' offensive line, really was the problem. I mean, if that pocket hadn't collapsed the entire time, they would have. I mean, who knows what would have happened? Maybe there would have been an injury, but
Eagles stayed in cover too, and they rushed 4.
Dude,
guess who else did that in 2020?
Exactly.
Tampa.
Yeah,
and that's why they were successful.
Yeah, so. and both times it was injuries, but this time it was just one position.
True.
Just one position. Whereas when it was against the Buccaneers, I was watching the documentary on this, believe it or not, this weekend, and it had to do with, they said all but one of those players wasn't a starter day one for the season. Like, every one of those guys had been knocked out for the season.
Mm-hmm.
And at the very end, that was an all-pro offensive tackle and an all-pro, both all-pros. It was Schwartz and Eric Fisher. They were both all-pro offensive tackles. And to lose them before the Super Bowl, you can't overcome it. So I feel like that was a problem more with injuries, which makes me sad. But you have to be able to overcome those injuries. And if you don't have backups in clearly important positions like a quarterback, you have to have a good backup quarterback. Even if you are a Mahomes, you got to have a Carson Wentz.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to play in the Super Bowl, you have to expect injuries and to overcome those injuries, and Chiefs could not overcome that offensive tackle problem. And the Eagles looked really good, but do you give that MVP to Hurts?
No.
I wouldn't either.
No.
I'd give it to either Sweat or Cooper DeJean.
Cooper DeJean, yeah.
Dude, that guy had a pick six. He was
Lights
a monster. Like, when you get he's 6'2", 215 pounds, and he plays slot corner. Are you kidding me?
He's good.
Like that, he might be the biggest corner. He's really a free safety body.
True.
But that's also what Ronnie Lott did. You remember?
Yes.
So Ronnie Lott was also the best corner in the history, and I believe he's the best corner to ever play.
Yeah.
And then he flips to free safety when his legs start like slowing down. You imagine the guy that's incredibly fast just slows down just enough to where he can't keep up with Darrell Green or any of who are those guys with the Washington Redskins that were super fast.
Yes.
All those guys.
The main one.
Yeah, and those wide receivers. So point is that defense outmatched the Chiefs offense. I thought the Chiefs defense would have played just fine. I thought they held together. I mean, giving up 40 points was more of a result of the offense giving up the ball every single time, just giving them shot after shot, and they just took big shots over and over, and that's how you beat the Chiefs. I mean, that's one way of beating the Chiefs. I think the best way of beating the Chiefs is what the Bengals did. That's why I'm always afraid of them, because Burrow is an absolute. He's a psycho. I think
he's going to do some good stuff next year.
Smart kid. Okay,
so let's move on to Buena. Let's talk about Thursday night at Ensign Gymnasium.
Yeah,
where 16-1 versus 16-1.
Oh my gosh!
I attended that game, and I'm telling you, John, the atmosphere was electric.
I heard it was electric.
There was incredible stuff going on all game. We were playing solid ball, and ended up doing what we needed to late in the game to pull away. And for the first time since 2022, we are region champions.
That's incredible.
So
good job to those
congratulations,
young
hats
men.
off to Coach Baker and his staff.
Absolutely.
All the wonderful support his families have behind him, and great job with all the things that happened for that game. And
62-54.
we have any box score stuff?
I'll pull that up in just a second. Max Preps doesn't allow you to do it unless you're signed in.
Oh yeah, that's okay. So I can tell you that one of the leading scorers, obviously there shouldn't be any doubt with it, is Jamin Booker.
For sure.
The guy was getting the ball, and he was putting the ball in the hoop no matter what. Had some incredible transitions, especially those 2 dunks back to back late in the game.
Really?
To ice the region champions, put it on ice, as they say. So, like I said, hats off to Coach Baker and all those guys that just did a wonderful job.
The point guard. Oh man, Duran, right? Isn't that his name?
No, he comes off the bench.
Oh, is he? So
Kingston was the one bringing the ball up this game. And Ricardo Brooks. Ricardo had a great game as well. So, excuse me.
All right.
We got region title coming out of Buena. That's pretty exciting. And
the girls soccer also.
They're going to be playing again.
Yep, they're going to be playing here. I believe, what was that, Tuesday night? Monday or Tuesday night?
I think it's Tuesday.
Tuesday night at Loveless Field.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe we can cover it on Cool FM. That was our last shot.
Can do the last minute of the game and interviews.
Yeah, which kind of sad that we couldn't do it, but there's, whatever. There's rules in place that don't allow us to cover everything. So, but the soccer team, they lost 1-0 to, oh, good Lord. Crimson, that's what I was going to say. Yep, Storm. I don't know why I said Storm. Crimson Storm, no. Crimson High School, and it's a 4A squad. Very good team. The wind was insane. Do you remember that tornado? Dude, it was...
Where?
It was a constant wind. So these girls were kicking into the wind. I was like, wait. I was watching the game, and they were kicking into the wind the whole time, and the ball would absolutely die before it got to the... And the girls that were on Crimson were shooting with the wind, which increased the velocity.
Oh, yeah.
Good Lord, that was...
So...
But they're playing. They still have a shot at the
We have a game on Saturday, 6 p.m. at Buena, Loveless Stadium. Get out there. Go show those girls some support. John, you're not going to believe their opponent.
I can see it right here. Yeah.
Someone had a little bit of a tough time with those guys in the second round of the playoffs in football.
Oh, in football, absolutely. Good.
So,
yeah, Verado,
they're a 15 seed. We're a 2.
Yeah,
well, we got a great chance to make some deep run right now.
Number 2 in 5A. That is so cool. I mean, those girls are.
Should be guaranteed 2 home games.
Good.
3.
I think they could have beat this last team. Honestly, I really thought it was a factor of weather, and they were missing, or they had 3 girls that were sick during the game. So. What are you doing? I mean, like sometimes things just don't go your way, and it sucks. But that's also the cool thing about sports. A lot of times, especially in high school football, it can be a flip of the coin, or just going into the wind rather than going against the wind. Sometimes the weathers have a factor. That's kind of the cool thing about outdoor sports versus indoor sports too.
True. So let's talk about.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about where we were last night in the afternoon, and
dude, all day
very
for me,
nice
baby.
Afternoon in Flowing Wells High School in their gym, which wasn't very ventilated. It was kind of stuffy.
It was a little stinky.
Yeah, but regardless, that's the atmosphere you want in a wrestling tournament.
That might be why I wasn't a wrestler.
So, we covered the sectional tournament for our boys, and we came out just destroyed people in the championship.
Did anybody expect Buena to? I mean, being number 2 in that tournament felt like a huge accomplishment. That was a lot of good teams and teams that they had lost to. CDO, they lost to CDO during the season. That was one of the games you and I covered, or matches we covered. Yeah, sorry. But they did so well and went out there, and you could see every one of those young men improved.
Yeah.
And they came out and did something different. So that was the thing that happened again. Oh gosh, we got the names of the kids.
Yeah, let me go through this list real quick.
Each one of these kids, let's talk about each of their matches because we covered every one of them top to bottom.
So I'll go through the list and then we can come back up.
Okay.
So first place in 126 weight class or 120 class was Brock Santa Maria.
Great job.
First year of joining the Buena Wrestling program after being at Tombstone for 2 years. So he won his championship in his weight class, and he informed us on the video last night. If you go back to watching that at Cool FM, he is ranked second in the state right now, and he might be the second seed in 5A, which puts him in a good position to be able to get to the championship pretty easily. So you're talking 5A all over the state now, and they're going to be bringing it. The team that always brings it up there in the valley is usually, they're the Colts like us, and they're a
Marana?
No, it's
sorry, I wouldn't.
It's a copper and blue team. Anyway, we're moving on. I'm drawing a blank. So first place at the 150-pound class, 140. Sean Brown.
Oh man,
had an incredible match. We'll talk about that in a little bit. 150, first place champion, Brody Clausen. No doubt there. Never had any doubt. He pinned him in the second period and did a wonderful job. The kid's got the longest arms known to man.
Oh man, shoots from the parking lot.
Yeah. So first place at the 180 weight class, 179, something like that. That's Hastings Haymore. As a freshman, ladies and gentlemen,
big upset.
Headed to state.
Big upset.
Holy beat Lindsay from Catalina Foothills.
That kid was so
good. That kid's a good wrestler, and Hastings had every counter for him last night and came out on top as a champion. Kai, I'm drawing a blank on his last name. He wrestled for third and fourth. He got third, and Kai will be going to state with his record. Because the other matches he's won in the season has helped him secure a spot in the state tournament. Austin Engel finished fourth in his weight class. Hudson Haymore finished fourth in his. I'm not sure Hudson was wrestling to get in and was not able to do that, but still got one more year to do that as a senior next year. And then Jalen Ward.
Second
place at the heavyweight division, the big bear class, as I call it.
We're hoping we see him on the football field.
I mean, we'll see him on the football field, no doubt, as a D tackle.
Oh,
and
he would be a monster.
He's already told me that's what he's aiming
for.
Oh so.
Gosh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, he's gonna be a beast.
He's not super tall, but he is like he couldn't get the band around his leg.
Yeah. That's what happened to me, John. I have calves that look like tree trunks, so that's what happens when you wrestle with tree trunk legs. Yeah. You just toss that thing over.
You recognize it. I'm like, what's he doing? That's kind of a jerk move.
No, you just give it to the ref. Like I can't wrap this thing around my ankle.
I can get around my pinky, and that's about it.
So back to Brock Santa Maria. Had control of his match the whole time. This wrestler was good from Maricopa. And did a great job, but Brock had the poise to finish like he was supposed to and do what he was supposed to.
Was that a pin?
No, he ended up winning by points.
Oh right,
he won 8 to 4.
That was a tough match.
Now Sean Brown came out and just
mauled him. That was so
took this
fun
guy
to
to
watch.
The cleaners.
Yeah, that kid. Well,
he won by tech fall, by the way.
Yeah,
he won. It was like 15-point spread, so it was like 18 to 5, or 18 to 3, something like that. It was crazy.
Okay, you got to remind me which one was the guy that when it looked like he was pinned, he kept like flipping his legs over the back of the guy, and then he just spin.
Brody.
And was that him?
That's what I'm getting to right now.
Okay.
So 150 weight class.
Good Lord.
Brody Clausen just knows. He's a very counterintuitive wrestler. He always has. If he gets somebody that is in an offensive position, he starts to think right away with his defense, and is just so spot on and so quick at it. And so
it looked like he was going to get pinned like 3 times, and I'm like, but every one of those he got a reversal. He looked kind of like Gumby. It didn't look like he was physically, like you shouldn't be able to bend your back.
Thank you, Coach Keogh. Excuse me for a second, Matt. John Castile High School is the Colts. They are the ones that usually give us a little bit of a hard time with wrestling at the state level. I think they ended up winning the 5A team championship last year. So overall, it was just a good, solid night for wrestling. Kai goes over and pins his guy in the 3rd place match. Yep. I think he wrestled somebody from Pueblo.
I kind of felt like he should have been in that 2nd place match. I got to see a lot of those semifinals, and there were some upsets. There were some big upsets. Like I don't know. It looked like some of those kids that were really good wrestlers, stayed really good. It's really hard. Is that like if you don't see something new all the time, and someone doesn't throw something new at you, it could totally clip you and just knock you out. And when kids in high school especially are learning all these things, they're adding new moves in high school so quickly. You could see a kid go from like a non-wrestler to an absolute beast just by learning these techniques. So it's very cool. And that's what the school that the wrestling school that we got sponsored by the gym.
Chain Wrestling Academy. Once again, shout out to the Santa Maria family and everybody else that's involved with that place. And it's over there off of not Meyer Drive, but maybe Myers. I always forget that street behind Bartow. Sorry, excuse me. Bartow. Right. It's right behind Jack in the Box there on Fry and 7th in that area. If you want to get your kid into wrestling at an early age, they start at 5 at Chain Wrestling Academy. They start them early, as you should with that sport, because it's a very technically sound sport that you have to learn a lot of technique and skill. And we have great coaches over there, and these guys go on tournaments all the time, and they take them to some exciting places. And we've had our kids do tournaments up in Phoenix, and they have it under the lights. They take a football field, and put 20 mats on the field and just wrestle all day and into the night. It goes to like 9, 10:30, 10 o'clock at night. We're talking club. Yeah, and we're talking they just go crazy. It's insane.
Hey, if you've got enough people to do it, man, I'm into supporting these athletics. Give kids something to do. That's the thing. It's like I didn't have anything to do, and I made bad decisions when I was a kid. And I really wish I'd had more to do. And so I'm very, very supportive of putting these kids into sports and doing something,
of course,
training them to do something good for themselves. And you come out a proficient human being, and you learn a lot of life lessons. A lot of times you you lose matches you think you should have won, and you win matches you think you should have lost, and there's a lot of growth going both ways. There's a lot of emotions. When we were watching those kids on the stands, and we got to watch the video after the match, we got to interview a ton of students. As the podium was being videoed, we went back and we interviewed Kelty Canaston,
who was our lone female wrestler going to state with Buenas. So she's done a wonderful job.
Freshman.
38-4, or 37-4 record. And she's only a freshman. She's going to have an incredible career.
We interviewed her on the floor, and then we interviewed Brock Santa Maria, and then we I think we interviewed Brody. Did I get that right? Some of the kids,
Brody
they all have
Clausen.
blonde hair, and I can't figure out which one's which.
Brody Clausen.
Yeah, and
You're
so
correct.
okay, nice kid. So if you want to see those kids being interviewed, we do that interview while the trophies or the medals are being handed out.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to see the kids on the stage, and we get to interview them in the background. So that was a lot of fun. Okay.
Yeah.
What else? There's something else. Oh, dude. So there is a ton of sports going on this coming week, and I'm going to be personally covering a lot of it. If you could add yourself to some of it, that'd be cool. And I know that you got a real job, so
No, I've got a lot going on too. But...
Buena Girls Soccer, 6 p.m.
Yep.
Basketball at 7 p.m. on the 20th. They're in the playoffs. Girls basketball. We didn't say anything about them.
Oh, shout out to Coach Perez.
Mm-hmm.
Way to go, Paco.
Yeah. So those young ladies, I'm usually out doing soccer, the outdoor stuff. So I wish I could have covered more of the basketball stuff, but I am incompetent by myself. I
might have to cover that game on Thursday.
Yes, that would be really cool. There's a lot of good stuff. There's also Wilcox is in the playoffs. Okay. 217, I believe that's Monday at 7 p.m. And Benson is in the playoff. All of these are home games, and that's at 7 p.m. So there is going to be 2 games on Monday, 1 game on Tuesday, and then a game on Thursday or Friday, wherever that is.
Well, they got a lot going on this week.
Tons of stuff.
We're in playoff season.
And then baseball's coming up. We're going to be doing baseball. Dude, baseball's going to be a fun one because the nice thing about baseball is it gets over early. You play that during the day, man.
Yeah,
that's what I love doing.
But I believe we're working on getting some lights out there at Buena, so we might have some night games this year.
That would be very cool, too.
That'd be some good stuff. So, hats off again to Coach Williams and his staff with the wrestling program doing a solid job. And what's exciting about that program is, and we talked about it, we interviewed him last night, he's got 2 kids graduating, and that's it. So that entire team is going to be back, and we're going to be seeing some incredible stuff happening within that program. I mean, the lifting itself and seeing the strength from our wrestlers, I think that helps a lot. Our kids have done what they're supposed to in the weight room.
They take it seriously.
Yeah. And it's all about the attitude.
Man, I was such a goofy nut in school. I really wish I could have taken him a little more seriously.
Well, unfortunately, I want to say I had all those things up on the wall. Bench press in my weight class or squat because I had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, it's either I'm going to the Marine Corps or I'm going to play football. And I stayed the course and did what I was supposed to and got a preferred walk-on down into D2 school in Mississippi and went down there and played for the Fighting Okra at Delta State. That was a fun little time down there, let me tell you, John.
That sounds like fun.
Fighting Okra, yes. The worst top 5 mascots in the country.
Dude, there's worse.
From my school. Well, but they got one up the road there in Scottsdale Community College. Fighting Artichokes.
I love it.
Wow.
I love artichokes.
A vegetable running at me. Ooh. So anyway, we'd like to thank all of our sponsors, backed by Morse, Ed Morse Automotive, formerly Lally Automotive, and they've got all their signs changed up over there. It's looking clean.
Oh, yeah.
Got some awesome inventory that they're building up on those lots. Go get yourself a chance to take a look at some of those nice-looking vehicles. They'll hook you up. They got some good deals going on right now.
I've been out there a bunch of times doing videos with Jeff, and I'm like, I would definitely. There's one that has all kinds of, it's got the trunk that you're like, oh man, if this was a mafia movie, I could fit all the bodies fit back in there. And,
wow, big trunk.
I'm telling you, man, that was a big trunk, and it looked like a super compact car. So to me, I kind of think of things as utility. I don't really look into the Lamborghinis as much, but they got some really beautiful cars. They got some really fast cars.
I don't know if I've ever seen a Lambo on a lot in Sierra Vista, but
not here in Sierra Vista.
Never know these days.
Well, yeah, there's a couple odd ones out there on Fry, but
they haven't bought them. They've definitely had to go get them somewhere else.
Yeah,
for sure. So, thanks again for everybody tuning in to Jon and Jarad on the field. Look forward to hearing from us and seeing us somewhere this week out on a Buena field or in a Buena gym. We'll be covering some Buena sports like we always love to. And we hope to see you there for the playoffs at Loveless, 6 p.m. You have to go to the AIA website or gofan.com and get your tickets. Can't get your tickets at the school because it's an AIA-sanctioned event.
And they don't know how to use cash.
Yeah, so they want you to use your
Good
card
Lord.
and stuff and buy it online. And
Isn't there a law about making everything available in cash?
Well,
whatever.
Anyway.
Get into the politics.
So, we look forward to seeing Coach Perez and the girls play their first playoff game in like 2 or 3 years. So that's exciting news to hear as well. So hats off to the coaches at Buena, and good luck to you guys getting your teams ready. And getting also one more plug. Wrestling will be going Wednesday night. They'll be starting live on the 20th at 8:30 in the morning. That'll be the first round of the Division II state championships. I'm going to try and see if I can get up there by Friday, maybe Saturday. We'll see.
Okay.
But definitely want to get some coverage. Coach Williams is going to be texting me day by day how things are going for each of our wrestlers, that they made it to the championship round the next day and all that. Cool. So we can try and see if we can get in there on Saturday. You want to make it to Saturday. That's what you're aiming for. Because Saturday you're going to get a medal. You're getting a medal round regardless. So hopefully we can see all 9 of our wrestlers that we're taking up there to come home with some hardware. And I'd love to see each one of them win a state title, but we'll see what happens. This is where you lay it all out and just go crazy with it, because it's not matter about what you did in the season. Now it's what you're doing from each match ahead. So
thank you to Ed Morris. Thank you to Chain Academy. Everybody, have a God-blessed day. Go Colts.
Go Colts.